Okay, so we're gonna kind of like, not yet. I would like to make my zombie spawn randomly, but I'll let you know more when I try. All right, Will. I think I can help you with that. Kind of like, oh, Left 4 Dead. There you go. You answered my. I figured it out right when you told me. Um, yeah, Left 4 Dead's fun. I, my family played that for a little while. It was cool. Anyway, so last week we did this character sheet creator, and even though some of you have already turned it in, we're gonna just modify it and fix some things that bug me. Um, Brian actually figured out the coding issue that I had. I haven't fixed mine yet, so we're gonna fix that in right here, right now, right? So go ahead and open that up, the thing we were working on last week, and we'll get cranking. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, I was saying tomorrow is election day, obviously. Hopefully you voted. I encourage you to do so if you're registered. Um, but Tuesday night will probably be a late night for me. I don't know that I'm going to be, I make no promises that I'm going to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning ready for this class. So if you have issues and you have questions about your project or anything, and you want to meet later that day, let me know, right? Um, Otherwise, just realize that I don't plan on being up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I'll probably be up fairly late trying to see if, democracy shall continue, right? No, there's class Tuesday, yeah. Wednesday morning, yep, is the issue. Or will be the issue, I should say. All right, so this is what we were working on, if you remember correctly, right? Let's solve the coding issue first, right? For the record, because I'm going to be changing this layout considerably, well, enough that it might screw some things up. I created a duplicate of the scene I was working on just in case I mess it up irreparably, right? Which is always good. It's a good practice to get into if you're going to do some major overhaul of something, right? If you have something working, before you break it, copy it. Yeah. All right. So, but first off, I'll run it and we'll talk about what the issue was, right? I can recreate it. Let's see. That was over here. Yeah. All right, so we're doing that. Yes, so the thing was that, right, you get to 30 and it gets to 0 and you still have one more button press before it changes to 30, right? What Brian figured out is just a display thing, right? The actual numbers behind the scenes are doing what they're supposed to do. So let's go to the code here and look at what's going on, right? The issue, right, is you click the button, like the increment property here, right? And it subtracts from points left and updates that display before it does any of this down here, right? and it's actually the decrement property that's the problem, right? It updates this points left before any of this stuff happens, right? So this logic that's inside each case, right, it doesn't get checked before we update the points. 1 second, let me just take the phone off the hook or something. One second, I gotta take that. Hello? Hey, Mom. That's good to hear. Awesome. I'll do that. Okay, that's good to hear, Mom. I'm in an online class right now, but oh, it's all right. It's all right. I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. Love you too. Oh, Lordy. Sorry about that. Mother-in-law calling. She lives right down the road. Okay. Where was it? All right. So the problem is that we are outputting the points left before any of this takes place, right? What I think Brian did, if I'm not mistaken, is put that in each one of those cases, right? Yeah. I'm thinking that's actually a little overkill. Well, we're going to try it, right? I think if we just put it after the switch, right? Put it there. Whoop, crap. Then we're assured that, I mean, if none of these cases actually fire, then nothing's changed anyway, and this is still valid, right? If one of them does, then the points left has been modified down here anyway, right? The problem was that having it up here, you're printing it before you've modified it, right? So that's the issue. So I'm going to try it like this and just see if it works. If not, we'll put it in. It should work like this if my thinking's right. And I'm feeling a little less foggy this Monday than last one, so we'll see. All right, let's check it out. Stop it. Start it again. All right, so up. Right. Yep, that appears to work. Yes. All right. So that's good. Saw that too. So that appears. I haven't actually connected those yet. That needs to be done, but yes, this looks like it works. It's good. All right. So that works as it should. The issue I want to handle now is not really a programming issue, but it's more of the UI layout. As you can see, our buttons aren't all the same size. It looks like crap, and that you really don't want that, right? Because it looks unprofessional, and they're not lined up, and it shouldn't look that way. So we're gonna attempt to fix that. All right, so let me stop this. The question is, how do you fix that, right? Right now, if you remember correctly, I might actually, let's see. Get out of the way. I'm just going to change the color of each one of these panels so we can better see how they're laid out here, right? So that's that panel. Right. index. All right. So as you see, and we know these top two also have. I won't worry about those right now, but these three panels comprise three rows, right? And they're stacked. And because the character creation panel has a vertical layout group, so there's actually 5 of these rows, right? I would propose that we, in fact, separate this section from this section, right? And then we have 2 columns here, where one column has the label and the number, and the right column has just the buttons, right? If we make a panel just for the buttons, then the buttons won't shrink or change size as the data over here changes size, right? So that's what it's going to get it can get kind of messy when you do this. So that's why I created a duplicate scene for this, right? So let's see if I can do this without blowing everything up. All right, so we need, let's think what we call this. We'll call it a, I don't know if I'm being clear as to what I'm actually proposing here, but let's draw a picture, because maybe that might help, right? Insert image or drawing, yes. All right, so shape. So that would be our HP and points left. And then I propose, let's see. Just copy that. All right. So instead of what we have here is just 5 rows, we're going to have 2 rows and a separate panel that's going to hold all of the attributes and the buttons. And inside of there, 2 panels, the attributes being here. Attributes. That's right. And then the buttons over here. All right. So maybe that makes it clearer what I'm trying to do. All right, let's try it. To make this simpler, hopefully, at this point, all my buttons aren't named. And that might be a problem when we start trying to organize this. So I'm going to come in here and add the attribute name into each button, right? So I'm in my strength panel, so I'm going to just add STR to the up button, right? And the down button. There's a little kind of a bookkeeping thing, because when we start moving these around, they're not going to be in this strength panel anymore. So it won't be clear as what they are. Right. So int button and up. I should say up and down, shouldn't I? This is down. Int down. Be as clear as possible when you name these things. Right. Up. And then dex. Up. Dex. Down. And I'm gonna get rid of that because it aggravates me. And I should have used the same capitalization on each one of these, and maybe one of these days I'll fix it, but in a hurry. Okay, so now what? Let's create we'll cut a panel called call it attributes panel, and then we'll have a button panel, right? So for now, I'm going to just collapse these so I can see better what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to come up here and game object UI panel, right? And we'll call this attribute panel, right? And we'll go ahead and create the other panel, UI panel, and we'll call this button panel, right? And now we're going to take those panels and we're going to stick them in here. I'll stick it there for now, and button. All right, so that's not actually where we want them, but I'm going to put the points left now up there. Right? All right, so you see that, and the auto layout automatically puts them in the layout, right? So you can see them right here, but that's not where we want them. All right. Let's see. We really need one more. Let's see. We need this panel here, right? It's behind the attributes and the buttons. What will we call that? We'll just call it attributes parent for now, right? And let's do that. Sometimes the naming can be iffy, right? Attributes parent panel, right? And I'm going to put that there, right? All right, so now the attribute panel and the button panel will both be children of that, right? All right. And it's still not looking like anything we want it to look like, right? But it will soon, hopefully. All right. So now we have these two panels. This needs to be a horizontal, instead of a vertical layout group, right? This needs to be a horizontal layout group. Or maybe we don't need to be. Let's examine that for a second. Let's actually just move all our stuff into these panels first, and let's see. This is probably going to blow something up, so sometimes it's fun to do that, right? So we got our strength text, right, and we got our buttons, right? So the attributes all need to go, the attribute text all need to go on the attribute panel, and the buttons all have to go on the button panel, right? Of course, each one of these have a layout themselves, right? So the best way of doing this, right? Let's go ahead and put the text. This is going to be really messed up. All right, so all right, and it's looking really bad right now, right? So attribute panel needs a layout. And it's going to be this is a vertical layout group. And we'll say child control size and height. All right. All right. And then the button panel, let's go ahead and we're going to add a layout. There's a grid layout that I think we're going to try to use here. I haven't used it too often, but grid layout group. And now we're going to add all these buttons into it and see if we can make that work. If not, we'll do something else, right? So, should be there. I wonder how it does that. That is not looking exactly how I want it, but we'll get them there, and then we'll work on it. All right. All right, so let's see what we got to do here. I'm going to play around. So this is the attributes panel there. Oh, I didn't. The attributes panel doesn't have any. Attributes panel needs a layout, so let's do that. All right, so it is. All right, a vertical layout group. Right, so layout, vertical layout group. All right, and do that. That. All right. Okay, that's at least I can see them now. Wait, the button panel is okay. That's right. No, wait a second. The attributes panel needs to be horizontal, right? So we have two attributes. The parent panel needs to be horizontal. Ah, lordy. All right. Let me just remove that. All right. Try it again. Horizontal. There we go. All right. Do that. All right. Getting there, I think. All right. Now the whole thing here is the grid. Like I said, I haven't used the grid too often, so let's just see what we can do with that. The cell size, I think, is what's going to determine how that lays out. Whoa, that 3,000 might be a little large. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know if the grid's going to work for what I needed to do, right? This constraint. So we already had these panels down here that aren't being used right now. We might. What I'm thinking is we move them up into the button panel, and we just use these for to constrain just the buttons, right? So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to take this strength panel, move it onto the button panel, then move the two strength buttons onto it, like so, right? Then I'm going to make the intelligence panel, move it up. First I'll move it there, and then that, and then do the same. Dex panel right there, two buttons like that. All right, and why is that? Okay, because that's still a grid, I think. Yes. No. Parent button. The button is still a grid, right? So we need to get rid of this grid is not what we want now, right? So our button panel is a grid layout. We actually want it to be a vertical because we're going to have 3 of these mini panels inside of the button panel, right? So we're going to actually get rid of the grid layout, and we're going to add a vertical layout group. All right, getting there, right? I know that was a mess, right? So, how's the lag? We all right? I can't see the chat. Let me see. Good. All right. Is everybody thoroughly confused? Yeah, well, that's the result of me not doing this prior to actually doing this. So I'm not a master of this layout stuff either. So I'm kind of experimenting in front of you. So it's never a good idea really, but whatever. Okay, so what I can do is I'm gonna make sure all this. I'm going to take a screenshot of my layout over here, right? And I will put it in. I'll save and close that. And notes. Right? And there. Stop. Put that in here. So that's in the notes now if you want to kind of use that as your guide. I think everything's there. Well, I didn't expand those, I guess, but let me do that. So I'll delete that one. Let's do that again. All right, so hopefully that helps. Of course, only Katie's actually looking at the notes, but anyway, Right, so the only thing now is an alignment issue, right? Let's just see if this solves the button alignment issue when we're playing it. It should. Now we just need to make it look a little better because of how they're aligned, right? So it still moves it, right? One thing we want, that's the thing we need to fix. I don't like how the buttons move when you get under double digits like that. That bugs me. But at least they're all lined up, which is better than it was. But yeah, that little shift that goes on bugs the crap out of me, right? So what we can do is we can set our anchors so that it doesn't actually flex like that, right? And that would be better. First off, they need to be kind of anchored over here, maybe spread out so that they fill up this whole section, right? So let's figure that out. Yeah, I'm still learning too. I've told you many times, you need to be better than I am because I'm not all that, right? So, let's see, button panel. What do I need to do here? So this is our button panel there, and let me do this. Let's see. All right. So we have the attributes panel here, and that goes stretches from all the way left to right. Now, if because let's see, I can't. If I take these off, let me just see what happens. All right. Actually, it's just the width. I'll say that. All right. If I go here, can I change? Yes. Well, I can't change the anchor. Can I? See, anchors I want to change. What I'm thinking here is that I don't want the attributes parent panel to have a layout group at all, and I'm going to control its anchors on my own. That is my thoughts right now. So that the attribute panel here and the buttons here, I can control exactly how wide they are, right? So okay. Yes. Okay. All right, well, let's try that. All right, so on the attribute panel, let's add a layout element. Yes. Like that. Yep. And layout. Yep. Gotcha. Gotcha. There we go. All right. So, whoa. All right. So then, um, okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is exactly what I want to do. Let me just... Yeah, I'm going to try something else real quick. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it doesn't go back immediately if you do that. All right, so that's awesome. Wonder why. Yeah, let's see. Because if I ignore that, then my HP and XP and points left take up all the space in there. Did you ignore for everything? Oh, I got you. Let's see. I've got a vision of what I want to do. I just can't. I'm not figuring out what I need to do. All right. Button panel. Let's start with that. So I want a child alignment. Start with that. Do that. Actually, yeah, it's better. Oh, that worked, actually. That works for me. So let's see. What I did was I went into the button panel, and it does have a layout element on it. The child controls the width, and my child alignment is upper right, and that seems to work. So I just take that. As is the case in much of this stuff, there's always more than one way of doing this, and not being able to see exactly what Brian did. I did it my own way because I can't see all his settings. So this. Oh really? Gotcha. Okay, well, hey, kudos. That's cool. So yes, to reiterate, I had in the vertical layout group for the button panel, child control size, and upper right, and child control size on width in upper right for the child alignment. And that seems to work okay. I still haven't hooked all the other buttons up, but I guess we could do that. Um, Actually, let's see. Are there any questions about projects or anything first before I? I mean, I think hooking the buttons up is pretty simple, but does anybody think they can't? Well, I guess you've probably already done that. Hell, I haven't graded the last assignment, so how would I know, right? But does anybody have any questions about how to make the other buttons work like you did those? All right, cool. Then I'm not gonna bother doing that. For now. Let's see. Questions about projects? Anybody? All right. So, you know, I'm not even require you to turn this back in, right? Because you've already done it. But I figured I wanted to show you possibly a better way of laying this out, and I think we've explored some new stuff about the layout tools, right? And there's a lot of depth in the layout tools, and obviously I don't know everything about them. It's something that you should explore and work with a lot because you want your UI to look good. And I mean, honestly, there's still things here that look like crap, but I mean, I would put some padding in here because you can. Let's see, um, just padding right there. Right? You can put padding in your layout, which is always looks better, right? And I might even put more in that. Yeah. So you want some space between your actual text and see how it just pushed it off the right side. That's less than optimal as well, right? So kind of have to work with that. I'm not sure why it did that. Anyway, that's why you play with this stuff. Try to figure out exactly how all this stuff works. Let me see. So play with that, and like I said, I'm not asking you to even turn that in. What I want to see this week is something that runs for your project, right? It's called a first playable. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's certainly not going to be bug free or complete, right? Just something that will run that I can kind of get an idea where you're at with your project. Did anybody want to show me what they have for their project now? Because I wouldn't mind seeing something. There's something there from 2019, by the way. What's that? I thought I didn't think that was visible. Talking about that. I see. Yeah, okay. It won't be there just shortly. Now it's not. All right. Refresh it and it'll be gone. That wasn't supposed to be there. Yep. All right. So, does anybody want to show me their project? Sure. Let's see it. Right. Oh wow. Well, Yeah, I don't want to wait 10 minutes. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, definitely next Monday have your projects loaded up so we can check them out. But hopefully Katie's won't take 10 minutes because I think she's already loading it. All right, so we shall wait. Hmm. Wow. Gotcha. That's cool. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick while that loads. Right. Be right back. All right, Dungeon Runner. Let's go. Cool. Hey, that's cool. Well, so, what's your next step? Cool. So, I mean, are the walls functional, or did you? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Did you do all the art? All right. Where'd you get the art from? That's cool. Cool. I like it. All right, so I don't really have anything else. If you don't have any questions, um, if you need to meet Wednesday or even any time this week, right? Let me know. But Wednesday at 8, I probably won't be. Yeah, I'll probably staying up late Tuesday night just to see what happens, right? But if you have questions or whatever, let me know and we can meet some other time if it works for y'all better. But Wednesday at 8 in the morning, I probably won't be there. Um, any other questions? All right. Well, hopefully you got something out of that today. You saw me bouncing around through the layout tools, but if no more questions, you're free to go, and I'll see all of y'all tomorrow. So we still have class tomorrow. All right. Yep. Have a good one.